Hi, I'm Lola, and this is a tutorial on how to make a bird plushie using my digital pattern. I adore birds. I grew up raising my own chickens and was inspired to design these plushies based off of this super cute bird pillow I saw in the anime Princess Tutu. I fell in love with it and just had to make my own. These birds have absolutely taken over my small business. Now I sell them at my local farmers market and on my Etsy. I figured such cuteness shouldn't and couldn't be kept all to myself, so I made a PDF pattern available on my Etsy store, Fiber to Attire. One thing to note is that when I originally filmed this video, I only had the hen size, but then I went back and made a little chick size as well, but all the instructions work exactly the same. Now on to the good stuff. First things first, we need to print out the pattern and check that our 1-inch scaling square is indeed 1 inch. The pattern is only about 6 pages of paper, so it won't take ages to tape together and cut out. After cutting all the paper pieces out, next is to cut on the dotted lines to remove the eye and the wing. This makes placing the eyes and wings later so much easier. Next, we cut out 2 eyes out of the felt and 2 wing pieces out of the quilt batting. Then onto the fabric, we will need 2 body pieces and 4 wing pieces. I find it easiest to cut through 2 layers of fabric at once. Do be careful about the grain of your fabric when you're using a fluffy fabric. Ideally, when you're petting your bird from the head down, it should feel smooth and natural, just like petting a cat from head to tail. One suggestion: keep a dustbuster vacuum nearby while you're cutting out fluffy fabric. One last bit of prep work before sewing: lay out 2 of the wing pieces wrong sides up. They should mirror each other. Lay a batting piece on top of each, then put your paper pattern piece back on top of one of them. This next step that I'm talking about now is only if you care about tidy lines. If you don't mind winging it, then more power to you. To transfer the line from the pattern, I poked a needle through the paper onto the fabric below, lifted the paper to see the batting, and marked the dot where the needle met the batting and the fabric. And then I repeated it as needed and removed the paper and connected the dots at the end. To the sewing machine. With the batting side up, go ahead and sew along your line. Don't worry about backstitching this part, since this won't be visible when we're done. With right sides together, sew up both wings. making sure to leave an opening so you can turn them inside out and hand sew them closed after. To attach the eyes, I lay the body pieces right side up and place the paper pattern over top to use the eye cutout as a template for placement. You can pin the eyes in place, but I've found that a little bit of fabric glue works really well too. If you have a satin stitch setting on your machine, use it to stitch down the eye, or use a zigzag stitch and mess with the settings on some scraps until you like it. I suggest placing a scrap of interfacing on the wrong side of the fabric under the eye to help stabilize everything as you stitch. It doesn't even need to be ironed on. I used the pattern again as a template to pin the wings in the right places and zigzag stitch over top of the lines that we stitched earlier, hence why they are no longer visible. Now we pin the two body pieces right side together and sew them, leaving an opening at the bottom. Trim off the excess seam allowance and turn it inside out. Stuff with your stuffing of choice. I like to chop up scraps from cutting out the bird and add them to the regular stuffing to reduce waste. I just noticed that on fluffy fabric that the fur would get caught in the seams, so I brushed the edges lightly with my closed scissors to pull that fluff back out. Feel free to check out my Etsy if you're interested for either the pattern or for a plushie itself that I've already made. I made quite the variety, in case you can't tell. No pressure though, and of course, thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I hope you have a lovely day.